Are you ready for a shark attack? Well then get ready for Arc August. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. In the month of August, we're gonna be kicking off with a really fun readathon. If you participated last year, it wasn't competitive, but this year it is. I should probably back up for a second, and if you have no idea what an ARC even is, an ARC is an advanced reader's copy. Many of us in the book space have ARCs, so whether it be from NetGalley, Book Sirens, another website that does advanced readers copies, maybe even some physical ARCs from publishers or authors. For a lot of us, these are sitting on our shelves. We need a little bit of motivation to read our shelves down. I will go ahead and link a video up above that talks a little bit about NetGalley, which is the main method that I gain my ARCs. So I'll leave that video linked up in the cards above and down in the description in case you're interested in learning a little bit more about NetGalley and what it is, and just kind of like an overall beginner's guide to it. So Arc August is a month-long readathon that is hosted by yours truly and my friends Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers and Coda from your BookTube bestie Coda. So this year it is nautical themed. So I did a little play on words with shark attack. So shark, instead of it being spelled the normal way, it's SHARC. So advanced readers copy. I went with that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make these teams and we're gonna just have a good old time making this competitive, because I think some of us really get a lot read when we make things more challenging and more competitive. You will see in a minute when I go over the teams and points and stuff that there is a non-competitive team. So if you're someone who's like, I just still want to participate in the readathon and read down my ARCs and really have a goal directed during the month, we do have a non-competitive team. So shout out to Bree from Four Paws in a Book for introducing the idea of a non-competitive team, because I was like, this is fantastic. I think more readathons need this. So I decided to incorporate that into this readathon as well. So we have 6 oceanic teams that are going to be ruling the waters this month, and we're in a competition for at least 5 of us to see who is the actual ruler of the ocean. So I'm going to introduce your competitive teams first. So we have Team Anchored Souls. This is going to be led by Dee Dee from Virtue of Books, Lauren from For Fiction's Sake, and Kiana from Shexy Lady. Next up, we have Team Azure Tides. This team is led by Jamie from Jamie Ravenmount, Kimberly over at Whimsical Narratives, and Chantel from The Spooky Library. On Team Coral Crown, we have River from River Rosewood, Sasha from Sash Reads, and Tiara from Aubrey Books and Coffee. On Team Siren Song, we have Anna from The Book Dreamer's Alley, Sarah from Sarah Y, and Stephanie from Literary Hype Woman. We do have one non-competitive team called Team Driftwood Dreams. This is led by Eric over at Break Even Books, Kiani at Saluna Shelves, and Paula from Family and Books. And finally, your last team, which is the team that I am participating on, is Team Sharkbite. So this is your villainous team. We have several leaders on this team, and you'll see why in a little bit. So we have Atia from Booking It with Atia, Jess from This Kiwi, Lexi from Lexi Rose Reads, Katie from I Would Rather Be Reading, Coda from your BookTube bestie Coda, Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers, Stephanie over at QWERTY, and like I said, myself. So make sure that you are following all of the hosts and the co-hosts. Everybody is linked down below. And if you go to our Discord, we also have all of the host socials, more than just YouTube. We have Instagram, Storygraph, Goodreads. We've got so many different socials that you can follow and connect with our amazing co-hosts. Let's talk a little bit about the team prompts. I'll introduce a little bit of the points here as well, but then I'll go more in depth about how you can earn points in a little bit. Each team has 3 main prompts that they can read towards and gain 50 points each. This is on top of the page count that you'll be submitting. So let's say you read a 100-page book and you decide to go with one of your team prompts, you would get 150 points for that book. Each team also has a bonus prompt that is worth 100 points. So in that same example, if you have a 100-page book and it happens to fit the bonus prompt, then you would get 200 points instead of the 150. There's a caveat that you cannot double up on prompts, so it is 1 prompt per book. If you decide to read a prompt from another team's selection of prompts, you will get half the amount of points. So instead of getting 50 points, you would get 25. And if you read one of their bonus prompts, you would get 50 instead of 100. So let's talk about each team's prompts. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have all the prompts on my phone. I can't remember everything, so I have to write things down, okay? For Team Anchored Souls, they have the prompts of read a book that you've been anchored to for a long time. So this is essentially a book that's been on your TBR for a long time. So it's equivalent to the prompt of a TBR vet. Read a book that deals with heavy or grounded themes. So it could be things like grief and identity, or maybe even discovering yourself. Read a slow burn book or one that is over 400 pages. And the bonus prompt for this team is to read a book with mixed media. Mixed media includes things like letters, podcasts, interview transcripts, any other sort of non-traditional storytelling format. It could be through like artwork, pictures, things like that. The prompt for Team Azure Tides is to read a book that surprised you, something you weren't expecting to enjoy, or a hidden gem. Read a book that you think will calm or soothe you. So this could be equivalent to like a cozy read. Read a book that stays with you long after you finish. So this is kind of like one of those books that is maybe a 5-star prediction, or maybe the total opposite, that it wasn't like the best book ever, but you remember it very fondly. I have some books like that myself where I'm like, oh, this wasn't the best literary piece of work and I didn't rate it 5 stars, but it lives in my head rent-free because of just how bizarre and wacko it was. And the bonus prompt for this team is to read a book set by the ocean or with a beach tide setting. For Team Coral Crown, your prompts are to read a fantasy book or one set in an intricate world. Read a book where a character rises to power or discovers their destiny. Read a book with colorful or sprayed edges. Even though these books are arcs and a lot of them might be digital, you can tell that some of them on NetGalley, for example, have a special edition coming out, and that is potentially why it's being republished. So you'll just want to look at the pictures that NetGalley posts to determine if there's like a special or sprayed edition coming out. So I'll put like an example here on screen for you so you know kind of the vibe of this prompt. And finally, the bonus for this team is to read a book with royalty or politics involved. For Team Siren's Song, their prompts are to read a book that explores complex relationships, so not just romance, but obsession, devotion, or even extreme heartbreak. So it's really pulling at a lot of those emotional heartstrings. Read a book with an unreliable narrator, a mysterious setting, or a twist you did not see coming. Read a book based on your current mood. And finally, their bonus prompt is to read a book with music, singing, or watery imagery. Because Team Driftwood Dreams is a non-competitive team, you can read whatever the heck you want. If you would like to read for the prompts, you can do that as well. You just won't get any points for it. So it could be a fun way to participate without having that added stress of competition. And you guys have like the cutest emoji. It's a freaking otter. And then we have Team Sharkbite. So you cannot join Team Sharkbite. The Sharkbites are already chosen, but I'll let you in on what our prompts are, because I thought it was only fair that we had to participate and do prompts as well. And there's some point stuff that goes into this that you'll see a little bit later too. So our prompts are to read a book where someone gets betrayed, read a thriller, horror, or a book with an edge to it, read a book with a sharp object on the cover. And that could be anything. It could be weapons, it could be teeth, maybe broken glass that is sharp, not dull. And our bonus is to read a book where the villain wins or is the most interesting character. So there are tons of books out there where the villain gets the girl or the villain is the main character in the story. So I thought this would be a fun little villainous team prompt to include. So let's get into a little bit about how all of the points will work. You, as a participant, do not have to keep track of any of these points. The only thing that you will need to do after you finish a book or a certain activity is submit the Google form, so that way we can make sure we're keeping track and logging. So each week the Sharkbites are going to be rotating teams just to make it fair, because each Sharkbite also has their own reading speed. You have some of us that might read 1 or 2 books a month, and you have some of us that might read 10 to 20 books in a month. So I wanted to make it fair and try to rotate as much as possible. Because there are less Sharkbites compared to participants in the readathon, the Sharkbites will be on some sort of multiplier. You just won't know what the multiplier is. But I wanted to make sure that it was something fair, so that way the Sharkbites could be competitive enough to even win this readathon. So even though we are the bad guys, we can technically win the readathon. So if you're on a competitive team, you're gonna want to try to make sure that you're earning points for your team. There are some fun things that Sharkbites can also do. We can also choose to go with a different team's prompt instead of our own, but rather than our points being halved, they're actually doubled. So let's say someone from the Sharkbites team decides to read a prompt for the Anchored Souls team. Let's say we choose to read a slow burn book or one that's over 500 pages. Instead of us getting half the amount of points for that prompt, so 25, we would actually get double the amount of points, so 100. Editing Vanessa here to insert that I forgot to say something. Not only do we get double the amount of points, but we're actually going to be stealing them from the team that we read the prompt from. So again, in this particular example, if we read a prompt from Anchored Souls, we're taking it away from that team. The sharks are kind of sabotaging you. So we'd get the page count plus the 100 points. I thought this would be fair enough that the ratio between Sharkbites to participants, it would kind of even out and we'd be on some sort of level playing field. There are some team badges that you can earn. These are not like real badges. These are just like fake digital. So if you complete all of your team badges, so let's say someone on team Siren Song completes all 4 of their prompts, so the 3 basic prompts and then the 1 bonus prompt, you would get the badge Siren's Call. If you completed all 4 prompts for Anchored Souls, you'd get the badge Anchored Mind. If you completed all 4 prompts for Coral Crown, you'll get the Crown Jewel badge. And if you're on Team Azure Tides and you complete all 4 of your prompts, you would get the badge Tidal Wave. The Sharkbites can also get a team badge as well. Ours is called Sharkbites Fang. You cannot get multiple badges or earn the badges more than once. So let's say you're on Team Azure Tides, but you also complete all of Anchored Souls points. You cannot also get their badge. You can only earn your team's badge. If you happen to complete all of your prompts and you earn your badge, that badge will earn you 200 points added into your team's average. So it does pay to read all of your prompts and then potentially dip around into other teams' prompts. All right, so let's talk more details about these points. Because this is ARC August, there is kind of an added layer of quote unquote work to it. You not only need to read the book, you have to also review and rate it on whatever platform that you typically rate books on. So I generally will rate books on Storygraph and on Goodreads, and then I put that information into NetGalley. Sometimes you'll come across a book that doesn't have the book entered into Goodreads or Storygraph. If you encounter any problems like that, we actually do have some Goodreads librarians amongst the host that can help add books to Goodreads. So you will have to submit some sort of proof, usually in the form of a link, that you did not only read the book that you say you read, but you reviewed it. And this also counts for DNFs too. So let's say you DNF a book at 15% in, go ahead and count your pages for it. You just can't earn a prompt for it. I feel like that's not fair, but you could count the pages for it. You'll just want to submit a review that says, I DNF'd at 15%, and maybe here's why I didn't like the book. If you want a little bit more details about DNFing, especially on NetGalley, I'm happy to answer any questions for you and kind of clarify things around this. I think it's only fair that because we are receiving these ARCs, that we are also doing the other part of the work by reviewing and rating the book, because that's how ARCs work. You get the book for free. In exchange, you offer your honest opinion and review. All points are going to be averaged amongst the amount of people on the team. So if you have 100 people on your team points are going to be averaged by 100 people, versus if another team has 50 people, they're going to be averaged by 50 people. This is just to keep things fair. As I said before, each page that you read counts as 1 point. So if you read a 100-page book, you get 100 points. For manga, graphic novels, comics, and children's books, these are going to be worth half points. These generally require a little bit less effort to read them and to review them, especially children's books, which are a lot of times maybe 30 pages or so. You can still count these, they're just going to count for half points. So for example, if you read a 30-page children's book, you only get 15 points for it. Or if you read a 100-page graphic novel, you only get 50 points for it. You can also apply a prompt to it. So children's books, manga, graphic novels, whatever, if it fits a prompt, use it. The only major rule was that you couldn't double up, meaning that you cannot apply 2 prompts to one book, but you can read a book for as many prompts as you want. Team prompts, as I said before, are worth 50 points each, unless you read from another team's prompts. In that case, it is worth 25 points. Bonus prompts are worth 100 points. If you read from another team's bonus prompt, you only get 50 points. Again, if you complete all 4 of your team's prompts, you get 200 points in your team badge. This can only be earned once per person. You can also earn points for following the host on social media, and there is no limit to this. So if you follow 30 different host socials, you'll just need to submit 30 different times, but you'll get 50 points for every host social that you follow. The point of this is to encourage community building and engagement amongst our social platforms. You also can earn 50 points for each sprint that you join. We will have a lot of sprints throughout ARC August, so anytime you join a sprint, you'll earn 50 points, but you need to make sure that you're engaging with the sprint, so it's not just, hey, I showed up, I clicked the like button and I left. You need to comment during the live what book that you're reading and then submit the Google form. Or if you happen to watch the playback, just leave a comment on the video of what book you're reading and then submit the Google form. So it's as simple as that. All right, sorry if things shifted a little bit. My memory card was full and then my battery started dying, so I just replaced everything. So another way that you can earn points is any book that is written by a marginalized author or that prominently features a marginalized community will earn 100 additional points, which can be stacked with bonuses, prompts, challenges, and events. We'll get to those last things in a minute. Marginalized groups can include individuals that are BIPOC, this is Black, Indigenous, or people of color, individuals who identify as LGBTQIA2S+, and or individuals with disabilities. It can be either a mental or a physical disability. So you can earn 100 points for each marginalized group that your book includes. For example, if there is a gay Asian author or character, like in Gasians by Mike Curato, you will earn 200 points. This is on top of the points that you would get for pages, and you can apply one of your team prompts. The characters do need to be prominent parts of the story, so not just some random side character that they just happen to mention that they're gay. Also, this should go without saying, but please do not out authors. So if you do a simple Google search and nothing turns up, you may not be eligible to earn these additional points, and that's okay. This is purely to diversify your reading, not to oppress or offend any sort of marginalized group. I think that is all the ways that you can earn points, but again, if you have questions and need clarification on anything, please drop those comments down below. I am happy to try to explain and clarify stuff. Let's get into some of the fun things that you can expect throughout the month, and I'm not going to give you all the details about these things. There are some different challenges and events that are going to occur throughout the month. These challenges are going to occur at different points throughout the month that you don't know. One of your first encounters is going to be a weekend boss battle where you're going to face the Kraken. There will be specific videos that are going to detail what to expect for these challenges and events. You'll find out a couple of days beforehand that there is maybe a mini event that is going to happen. I will disclose up front that there are going to be some little challenges that you can participate in throughout the month. So for example, one of the challenges is called Fishing for Prompts. This is a random generator event, which during a specified time period, if you cast a line, you'll draw a surprise prompt. There are some treasure hunts that are going on throughout the month. So each week there's going to be a secret treasure hunt prompt, which will be posted. If you complete the prompt before the next one drops, you will earn 300 additional points for your team. These prompts cannot be stacked with any other prompts except for the marginalized groups that you can earn additional points on. That's the only exception. So you would be earning 300 points for completing one of these prompts versus the 50 points that you might get for your team. There's also another challenge called the Tooth Mark Challenge. There's going to be some random prompt drops throughout the month with very difficult surprise prompts. While you will still earn the page points for these challenges, they can't be doubled up with any other prompt. If you complete the challenge that I gave you, and I said these are hard, you'll earn 500 points for your team. These challenges, however, need to be completed within 24 hours. of when the prompt drops. Remember, these are challenges, so they're meant to be difficult. Like this one in particular is meant to be really difficult. That's why the point value is set so high. There is a sign up form that is going to ask you like what team you want to be on and how'd you hear about the readathon and all that. On the form itself, it's going to also ask you a little bit about your statistics. So that way we can get some information about where people are starting. So that way we can also track towards the end of the month where people have ended up and what kind of progress they've made. I will make a note that none of this information is going to like be singled out. So if you say, oh, my NetGalley ratio is 3% and I have 100 books on my shelf, I am not judging you. This is merely going to be grouped up so that way I can say, oh, there were 20% of people who said their ratio was between this and this. Or there were 30% of people who said their ratio was over 80%. So I'm not going to be like, so-and-so's ratio was 2%. I'm not here for that. So at the end of the month, if your NetGalley ratio is over 80%, and you will need to submit like a little screenshot of some sort so I know that like people are telling the truth and not just trying to get points, you're going to earn 500 additional points for your team. So as I said at the beginning, NetGalley is the primary way that I get my ARCs, but I know that people also get their ARCs from a variety of other places. I don't know what the equivalent is for a feedback ratio for other platforms. Like for example, I don't know if Book Sirens has a feedback ratio score, or even Edelweiss. Like I don't know if these places have a feedback ratio that you would get. So a feedback ratio would be like the books that you've requested and been approved for compared to the number of books that you've rated and reviewed. So let's say you've requested 200 books and you've only rated 100, your feedback ratio would be 50%. So I think what will be really helpful here is if that you don't use NetGalley, but you use some other platform, you'll just need to find a way to show your beginning progress compared to your end progress. So that way we can assign those points to the team that you're participating on. Overall, as I've mentioned before, this is like confidential. So it's not meant to out anybody for having a low feedback ratio. I'll tell you, mine's not great. It's under 80, it's way below 80%. This is more of a way to encourage people to increase those ratios of approved to unrated books and just really get you to read your ARCs and clear out those ARC shelves. With all of that being said, if this sounds like a readathon for you, you're definitely going to want to sign up with the sign up form down below, and you're going to want to join our Discord because that is how we're going to do a lot of the communication. As I said before, throughout the month, I'm going to have a couple of other little videos that will pop up that are going to be your mini events, and it'll explain all of the details for those and how you can earn some additional points. And let me just tell you, they're going to be so fun and they're going to be worth it. Please, please, please let me know if you have any questions because I know this is a lot of information. I will have a Google Doc available so that way you can see all of these rules written out in a visual format. But I'm so excited that months and months and months of hard work is finally coming together and you're seeing the products of what's been going on in my brain for the last several months. So I'm hoping that we all have a lot of fun and we get a lot of our ARCs read. If you want to see my NetGalley shelves, because that's where I'll predominantly be pulling a lot of my books from, let me know down below. I'm happy to share all of the books that are currently on my TBR and just kind of see what I have available to me to read. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already. If you've gotten to the end of this video and you don't have any questions or any comments or anything like that, but you do want to let me know that you were here, let me know what team you're going to be joining, whether that be with an emoji or just the team name. I am so excited to have you all here participating in ARC August, and I can't wait to see what you all get up to next. As always, thank you for watching to the end of this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!